Day, when the nation keeps covenant with those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, giving their lives in action. From Introduction to Soldiering, the Military Covenant, published by the Ministry of Defence, April 2000. Prologue, August 2008. The denizens of Combat Outpost Mackay had that end-of-tour look. Worn desert camo, seams bleached and salt-rotten from sweat, dust-ingrained faces staring blankly at the stranger in their midst. The faces of men worn thin with sleep deprivation and danger. They'd been under sniper and mortar fire day and night for 5 months, then foot patrols with IEDs on top. Even the Major, Collins, looked like a scarecrow, shrunken in his clothing. They had 3 weeks to go until the next roulement arrived, and they needed a sergeant. Until then, Corporal Stark would wear a 3rd stripe. "Acting Sergeant Stark?" demanded the Major. "Sir." The officer looked him up and down. "Private Walker here will show you where to bunk down. Get some kip. We're on foot at 0600 sharp. Get yourself dusty. Stand out and the snipers will target you for an intelligence officer." Walker led him wordlessly through the maze-like compound, the old police station and civic buildings of a tin-pot town linked with Hesco and razor wire, windows reglazed with sandbag gun slots. Another combat outpost, another hell-manned hellhole, surrounded and marooned. Walker showed him the latrine, a chemical loo sheltered on 3 sides with corrugated iron and sandbags. Someone had sprayed shit from above, shit from below on the olive-drab canvas curtain that stood for a door. Then a bare concrete room with bedrolls and belongings strewn in 3 corners. Walker pointed to the 4th. Doonan's spot. His dull tone said Doonan no longer had need of it. Home on a Hercules wrapped in bandages and blanket, or box and flag. "Cheer up, Sarge," he chuckled. "No mortars tonight. Maybe the bastards have run out." Stark didn't try to sleep. He stripped and cleaned his weapon, reloaded magazines, wrote a letter home and tucked it into his bedroll. At 0530, a private led him to the briefing room. Objective: to clear a back road of IEDs. The briefing was short and to the point. Same shit, different day. Crack on, job done, home in time for tea and medals. It was still cold as they stepped out. Walker, accompanied by another private, was driving a dusty old snatch Land Rover at walking pace behind them. 2 other privates with Valon metal detectors scanning every inch of road and path as they advanced. It took 2 hours to reach the objective, by which time it was far from cold. A handful of locals led by a town elder appeared and were greeted by the Major. They crouched and conversed a while in broken phrases, gesticulation and maps scratched in the dust. Their last interpreter had been beheaded and dumped in the local well, a corporal called Gaskin told Stark. Those were the snippets you didn't tell your mum. Stark was going to have a hard enough time explaining this little detour when he should have been on a transport out of Kandahar today. Scanning the rooftops, he felt the familiar tingle of exhilaration. Eventually, the Afghans led them to the road in question, pointed at various locations, and withdrew. The street was eerily abandoned. No wonder, if the locals thought the Taliban had been at work here. Progress was even slower. Several times, the scanners called a halt while the bomb specialist, a sergeant named Tyler, checked out yet another bit of scuffed earth or discarded tin can. Then, the real thing. They all kept quiet while Tyler disarmed the device. A simple bent metal pressure trigger taped to batteries and explosive, all wrapped in a plastic bin liner. Small, aimed at maiming the foot soldier, buried in the verge with dry turf carefully replaced over it. Batteries removed, Tyler carried it back to the snatch as if he were doing no more than taking out the rubbish, then stripped off his blast helmet and shared water and laughs with Major Collins. Stark felt himself relax and checked it. They moved forward again, slow, careful. 100 meters on, another device, another taut